Very suspenseful. Hello.
So that's whether it's going to work or not.
All right, very good. Thank you. Okay, good evening. I would like to call the November 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Town of Cicero Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Ms. Robeson, please call the roll.
Here.
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 Here. Please take note of the fire exits located in the front and the rear of this room. At this time, please silence all cell phones and pagers. Tonight's meeting is being live streamed on YouTube and is also being recorded. At this time, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Has everyone read the minutes of our October 6th meeting? Any corrections? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Very good. When you're ready, please call the roll.
Yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion. Cicero Town Board acknowledges the importance of full public participation at all public meetings. And therefore, we urge all who wish to address those in attendance to please come to the microphone located in the front of the room. At this time, I will make a motion that all actions taken tonight are type 2 actions and have a negative that is no impact on the environment unless otherwise indicated. Do I have a second?
Second.
When you're ready.
Yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion. We have proof that all items on tonight's agenda have been advertised as directed by law. I will briefly review the process for tonight's meeting for the benefit of those present that have never been before the Zoning Board of Appeals. Each applicant will have an opportunity to describe their project. The board will then ask questions about the project. I will then open a public hearing where people will be able to speak for or against the proposed variance. The applicant will then be given the opportunity to respond to public input and provide additional information. Board members will be allowed to ask follow-on questions. The board will then openly discuss the 5 factors that contribute to the final decision. Please note that this board does not have a pre-agenda meeting, so there is no prior discussion of cases outside of this meeting. Then finally, a motion will be made, either approving or denying the requested variance, seconded, and voted upon. So our first case tonight is an area variance for a property on 7289 Lake Shore Road. The owner and applicant is Wayne Kingsbury, and Tim, you're up to bat.
Good evening, Tim Coyer, our News and Romans Land Surveying. Should be the map that you already have. Just
Yep.
handing it out, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this property, like you said, is located on the north side of Lake Shore Road. Current property owner has had an existing house there. They're actually tore it down and looking to build a new house. And specifically with this new house, they're hoping to put a deck on the back of the house for obvious, entertainment value and value to the home. We have a few restrictions on this property. I want to point out that the existing house, while it was there, was existing non-conforming. We're actually tore all that down because it was too close to the property lines. We're making this house meet and conform to all of the setback restrictions except for this proposed deck. The concern is when we put the 12-foot deck on the back of the property, it gets out to be about 19 feet from the shoreline, and that's the variance we're going to be looking for. One restriction that we're having, we tried to pull it away from the lake as much as possible, but there's an existing sanitary sewer easement in the middle of the property, so you can't pull it towards Lake Shore Road, unfortunately. Right now, in theory, we could probably gain a foot or more with the variance, but we're trying to keep a 2-foot buffer with that easement. We don't like putting things right on easements. We don't like having things too close to easements. So roughly the 19 feet would work with the 12-foot deck. And again, we would like to pull it closer and make it work better, but that easement's basically in our way. So I had my pointer.
Right there. There's a switch on the left side.
Oh, I see it. So this is the easement that we're talking about that's kind of in our way. The deck is back here. Then this is a proposed house. The existing house got tore down and we're looking for a variance of 19 feet off the shoreline back here. Again, right now we've got it right up to this easement line, so we can't pull it forward anymore. With a 12-foot deck, it's roughly 19 feet for the variance. If you'd like, I can go through the 5 factors.
Yes, please.
Is the requested variance substantial? It's a 37% reduction in the variance, so in theory, the number wise, it's substantial. Will an undesirable change be produced to the character of neighborhood, or will the granting of the area variance create a detriment to nearby properties? We don't believe so. Again, if you look up and down the road, there's a lot of the other properties back there that have their houses pushed right up against the shoreline as well. So it's kind of in character with the neighboring property, specifically to the west. Can a benefit be sought by the applicant to achieve some method feasible of the applicant to pursue other than an area variance? In theory, yeah, you could not do the deck because the house itself does meet code. It's literally just the deck. Was the alleged difficulty self-created? Yes, we're asking for it. We're creating the issue. Will the variance have an adverse effect on nearby physical or environmental conditions? No, again, a lot of the other properties are pushed this far back to the water, so I don't believe it's creating an adverse effect on any of the neighbors.
Okay.
In fact, we're actually pulling the house away from property lines and probably improving the situation out there with the new house.
That's always appreciated. What questions?
Not that it really affects the variance, but the single story deck.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. So at this time, I will open the public hearing. Would anyone speak for this? Would anyone speak against this? At this time, I will close the public hearing. Last chance for questions. Okay. Would someone like to review the 5 factors and make a motion?
I'll do it.
Congress.
All right, whether an undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. I would say, no, this is very typical for that area and would fit in with the surroundings.
Agreed.
I agree.
I agree.
Whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance. Again, it's a very constrained property, the way those properties are along the waterfront. So, and with the easement there really isn't a significant way to alter the project and make it fit with the codes.
Agreed.
I agree.
I agree.
Whether the requested variance is substantial, it is a 37% variance that they're looking for, moving from 30 feet down to 19 feet. So I would say that is substantial, but not necessarily a reason to deny the variance.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood? I would say no. Again, very similar to the surrounding areas, and it's proposed in such a way that it's not going to have any negative impact on its surroundings.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
And finally, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, as is almost always the case, yes. If the applicant wasn't seeking to build this deck, then there wouldn't be a need for a variance. Again, that's not necessarily a reason to deny the variance.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
In that case, I would like to make a motion on behalf of Wayne C. Kingberry at 7310 Lakeshore Road for a proposed 12 by 16 attached deck having a rear yard setback of 19 feet where a minimum distance of 30 feet is required.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Very good. When you're ready.
Yes to the motion?
Yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion. Motion carried.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See that down. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, it's yours.
Thank you.
Okay, our second and last case tonight is an area variance for a property on 7021 Van Antwerp Drive. The owner and applicant are James and Don Vivello. If someone could come up and describe the project.
Absolutely. My name is Bill Murphy. I'm president at Space Architectural Studios. I'm representing Dawn and Jim this evening. Thank you for your time. We've prepared the application for the project. I can take you through a little bit of it. I see that one of the site plan sheets up on the screen. Really, we're proposing a little bit of an update to the residents. Trying to get a little more usable space inside the property for an additional restroom on the first floor, closer to the water. They have a nice patio out front. We'd like to maybe put a screen around the first floor section and perhaps a deck above it. Just provide a little more cover for some bug days and some potential rainy days as well. We've added a deck across the back, above that patio. Little bit of addition. Immediately adjacent to this property is actually what is an old paper street. It's a right of way that, you know, a bunch of property owners have access to. You know, many people share in the upkeep of this old paper street. The Vivellos also upkeep it adjacent to their property. They certainly want it to look nice. The requests for the variance are twofold. One is just the lot is too narrow as it sits. So it's a pre-existing non-conforming condition. And one of the nice things of having this adjacency to this right of way is that's open, right? That's like a property setback. It's open. So the notion is that given this unique condition, we're asking to get a little closer to that property line and asking for a variance. We think it'll help with the rhythm of the houses along the street, certainly. So there won't be a gap or as big a gap between this house and the neighbor to the I guess it's further east. But certainly willing to answer any questions that the board has or speak with regards to anything additional. If you'd like, I could answer the factors for you as well as we see them, or if you'd like me to hold that in case anybody else would like to speak, I'm happy to do that.
No, if you want to go through the factors now, that
Sure.
would be great.
So there's a couple of new variances that we requested. They are relative to the side yard setback, the combined side yard setback, and the coverage. To whether the requested variances are substantial, we believe that these are modest requests. A couple of them already are pre-existing non-conforming, so you know, it's not like we're you know, they're not all new. The variances, we do not believe them being substantial. And again, due to that 20-foot right-of-way being adjacent to us on that side we're proposing to get close to, we've actually got, way more than the typical 6 feet of a normal parcel there. Being that there's 20 feet to that neighborly property. To whether an undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood. We think that the side yard variance abuts this 20-foot right-of-way. This right-of-way is included in the deeds of many neighbors, allowing them access to the lakefront. Town has no intention of abandoning this paper street, which means it's never gonna really encroach on a neighbor's property. This owners have maintained this right-of-way for about 10 years now since they've purchased the property, and they will continue to do that. And it's a neighboring piece of land that connected to theirs. And if other people in the neighborhood want to help maintain that, then, that's great too. They just don't want to see it be unkept. To whether the benefit sought by the applicant be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue. We're trying to add on in one spot to the home. We could add more structure along the whole side of that house to get close to that 6-foot line, but we're really only over the line. I don't know how this thing works. There we go, maybe, yeah. So the line is this lighter faint line. So the bulk of the addition we're proposing is conforming. It's just a little pieces that kind of stick out past. That's being done to allow the bathroom to work properly and allow a hallway to get from the inside to the outside through the addition, and creating some storage for all their waterfront activities. The alleged difficulty is self-created, but we think that the variances in order to make this proposal happen are quite modest, and we do not think a negative change will be made in the neighborhood. If you'd like me to go into any more detail on any of those, I'd be happy to, and go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Two questions. One question I asked specifically of Steve leading into this. One thing you won't see is the language regarding existing non-conforming, because the lot is 50 feet wide. Based on my conversation with Steve, this lot was actually established before the town code was in effect, so that if you read that, that gets us past the whole talking about the existing non-conforming piece of that. One specific question I did have for you, though, is that the survey you were going off of was recertified in 2015. I want to make sure you have confidence in that, because whatever we give you, if at some point lot lines change, and sometimes they do, not through any fault of your own, but just because a different surveyor comes out and gets them, you okay with, I just want to make sure you're very confident, because we're getting very close to that, or you're proposing to be very close to the property.
Yeah, I
line
mean,
there.
we've walked the property with the survey. There have been some improvements made along the waterfront. But we have nothing to believe the property line or the side yard setbacks or any of the other pertinent information on the survey that we were looking at it for is different. We have about, a foot, we're saying about a foot off the line. Certainly if the town would like us to get a new survey or an updated survey, I could speak to the Vivellos about that, and I'm not sure, I don't think they'd have a problem with that. A lot of times some municipalities require one dated within a certain time frame. Other ones don't. I didn't see anything in the code. So I thought this survey.
The
was
application
legit.
did say it should be updated within 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would ask before a building permit is issued, this is going to need to be staked, considering so close to the property line. So I would ask that it
So
be updated.
there will be a
Sure.
subsequent.
So we can get an update, have it staked prior to the dig.
Yeah, you might
Yeah.
need some pinning for footings or something like that when you're talking so close. You only have less than a foot of wiggle room.
Yeah, sure. We'd be happy to get a surveyor out there and have it staked out. prior to any work commencing.
Yeah, I think that removes any concerns that I have relative to the survey, so thank you for
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I don't want to monopolize this, so one other
Question.
questions.
You said that what are we calling it? A right of way is in the neighbor's deeds.
It's in some of them. It's not in all of them.
What does it say about how it should be used or can be
Um,
used?
Let me read it. I have a couple of them here. So, for instance, in James and Dawn's deed abstract, all that tract or parcel of land situated in the town of Cicero, county of Onondaga, state of New York, bounded and described, beginning at a state of 20 feet, north line, H.E. Luther's, 20 feet southwest. I'll get to the point if you don't mind, or do you want me to keep reading the whole thing?
I'm interested
What
in
it
how-
says is, together with a right-of-way over and upon said private road and right-of-way to lay, operate, and repair a water pipe over the same with a pump and engine, such pump and engine to be so placed in the bank of Oneida Lake as to not obstruct the view.
What does that mean?
So, my understanding was this was a paper street, which effectively was a street made to deliver papers to residents attached to the street. At some point in time, this paper street was no longer maintained by the town. It was absolved of being a true street. But what was left was this piece of land, this little strip. Well, the town owns it, but not everybody, I don't think, has the right to necessarily use it, or maybe they do. But some of the deeds do mention this access to this easement and this right of way, and other deeds do not mention it at all. So
Like access to put a boat in or something
So
like that.
Terry, the other interpretation of paper roads are some common point of access for multiple properties. So there's multiple areas here along the lake where you'll see an open area, paper road that allows multiple properties access to the lake where some properties may not have those, if that makes any sense.
My second question is, have you considered, and we're talking about a bathroom and a couple of closets, have you considered?
it's primarily the second floor program that's driving the footprint.
Well,
Yep.
for instance,
Mhm.
swapping the bathroom with where the closet is and making the closet smaller.
I think if we look at the second floor plan, and we definitely looked at several different sketch plans of how to arrange this space. And what really is driving the first floor program is the addition of the master bath upstairs. So today, as it exists, the bathroom situation on the second floor and the bedrooms are very, very compressed. And really, they don't really even allow, very much access or view to the lake. So that's going to be our first floor plan. If you go down a little bit, right there, that's the one we want to zoom in on. We've taken the one bath upstairs and made that the hall bath for the 3 bedrooms that are off of the hall. And then we'd like to add a master bath and closet, which is really what's driving that addition. That's the primary driver of the footprint. And then down below we have, could we and kind of jigger that a little bit? Certainly. But really we're trying to just keep all the plumbing in kind of stacked situation.
Well, you could switch both sides. both
Yes, you could, but that would put the part, I guess, closer to the lake would be like, to me, it made sense to keep the closet a little further away and not have the bigger program out in front. But both could be done as an.
I mean, you could do a shower, for example, instead of a tub. Is that a shower or small?
Well, it's actually it's a shower, it's a washroom. It's a shower with a tub in the shower. It's a new concept. I don't know. I don't come up with all these things. It's just, people see pictures and I just try to make them happen.
And my other concern is access on the outside. If anybody's doing maintenance on that property, you're stepping over the property line and just.
Well, right. So I mean, they have right to ingress and egress and access across this right of way, which they maintain. I mean, they mow it, they, so I kind of view like painting the house from there would kind of just be part of the access on the paper road. If there's a comfortable number that you want us off the line, we can go back and work with that too. But to me, we kind of let the minimal what we think will work for them and kind of lay out, and then we came and asked for permission. That's how we attacked it.
Anything else right now? Okay. Yeah, Terry, you actually asked my question about access, so thank you for that. So what we'll do at this point is I will open the public hearing. Would anyone speak for this? Would anyone speak against this? Okay, so we're all gonna take turn. You can, no, I saw you get up first. You can come on up. Just make sure you state your name, where you live for the record.
Do you have paperwork to give to the board?
Absolutely. Thank you. And you are,
What's that?
I'm sorry, your name?
Oh, my name? Yeah, good evening, members of the board. My name is Eric Veralt and I reside at 6995 Lakeshore Road. I'm here to formally oppose the variance requested for 7021 Van Antwerp, tax map 82.02-19.1 submitted by James and Don Vivello. I submitted a FOIL request for all records related to this variance. The documents show that not all lake right holders, including myself, were notified or included in this process. This is a serious procedural issue and undermine transparency. I was first contacted by the requesters Saturday, November 2nd at 1:30 p.m. Evidence showed in the first 2 pages of document provided. The applicant have claimed in their paperwork they maintain the lake rights area. In reality, I've personally paid for the shoreline improvement, added protective rocks, and regularly mowed the lake right area. I have receipts and photos to support this. Their claim is inaccurate and does not reflect the actual stewardship of the space. Also, after Mr. here was done, in the FOIL request, they never mention anywhere in the project narrative that anybody else is taking care of the lake rights. So on page 3 of my documents, you guys can see the invoice. And I can also ask some of my neighbors in the audience whether or not I mowed the lawn. Recently, I installed a small dock, just 16 feet. While most of the others have much larger dock, this caused significant concern from the applicant who contacted my family about communication. I apologize. I tried to resolve their issue directly. However, I find troubling that while they expect communication from me, they did not communicate or include any lake right stakeholders in their own variance request. On page 4, you can see the dock that I put in. On
So
page
where-
5,
Where was this dock? Was this was in
on the lake right.
on the lake, right? Okay.
On page 5, I have the entire communication, tried to resolve this amicably. And on page 6, you guys can see the entire picture of what the area looks like. Their dock's on the far left side. After the recent dock discussion and concern raised by the applicant, I retained a lawyer to review the lake rights and clarify exactly who holds the right and what activities are permitted in the lake right area. To demonstrate my concern to following the law and ensuring fair use of all stakeholders. This misrepresentation in their application is concerning, as it would cause confusion for the board and the public record. I've also added the retainer letter from my lawyer. There's 3 or 4 pages in there. The proposed expansion does not meet the minimum side yard setback required by the town of Cicero zoning code as shown on page 11 of my document. Granting this variance would undermine the regulation intent and set a precedent for inconsistent application. The expansion would narrow the open view corridor of the lake, disrupt the natural ambience, and make a shared walkway and lake right path feel confined. This detract from the communal and open use of the deeded lakefront space. Additionally, there's a mated pair of bald eagle that regularly perch in a tree near the lake right area. This is a special environment feature for our neighborhood. And increased construction and human activity could disturb this protected species and its habitat. Another critical concern is the potential for increased shoreline erosion and diminished sunlight in the lake right area. The proposed expansion would bring additional impervious surfaces and structural mass closer to the water's edge. This can accelerate runoff, destabilize the shoreline, undermine the improvement and maintenance effort that preserve this area for all stakeholders. Furthermore, by extending the structure towards the shared access, the variance would cast longer shadow and block natural sunlight. Reduced sunlight not only affect the growth of native vegetation and grass that help prevent erosion, but also diminish the enjoyment and usability of the lakefront for all who hold deeded rights. These environmental impact further support the need to uphold the existing setback standards and protect the integrity of our shared lakefront. Approving this variance could lead to further encroachment, eroding open spacing that define our community and creates inequity for homeowners that follow the rules. The applicant have existing structures, including one across the street, that could be used or modified for the state purposes without violating zone code or impacting neighbor. We believe the applicant do not hold deeded rights lake, yet the expansion would move their structure closer to the shared access area reserved for those with rights. This could lead to confusion and conflict over boundaries and access. We have historically allowed the applicant limited use of this access area as a courtesy and to be neighborly. If this variance is granted, the applicant would have no practical way to launch or retrieve their dock except through the deeded access area to which they do not have rights. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the board to deny this variance request, uphold the existing side yard setback standard, and preserve the integrity of our deeded lakefront area for all property owners.
Sorry, I'm making some notes right now.
Yep, I have the entire full request in this red binder. And I also have a formal signed letter for denying all this.
The applicant doesn't have it in their deed that they, is that true? Not, you don't see it,
Well,
attorney doesn't.
the one
see it.
thing I want to do though is make sure we get through the full public hearing first before we start with the questions. So do you have anything else you haven't already said? Okay, thank you
So,
very much. I
thank you.
appreciate that. Sorry, folks, I'm making notes here for further questions. Okay, anyone else? Come on up, sir.
Hi, my name is Craig Taylor. I'm one of the owners of the right of way. And we've gone through this process on 3 separate times. First with Mr. Chaponis, and then the other one, which you all know, Bill Meyer. And they all lost their case. They all wanted to take that right away. And they all presented it in the same way this man did here. They don't maintain it. It's dangerous. They have the right to it. Matter of fact, he already set the stage for that. He told Eric, it'd be nice if you let me know when you want to come down and use your own right of way. Does that sound like a guy that wants to work with people that actually own that right of way? So now when you expand his property within a foot, like Eric said, he's not going to be able to get his dock out or do anything. Now we've been neighborly and we let him use it. Just 2 months ago, I introduced myself to him because I didn't really meet him before. And he said, "Is that your dad across the road?" I said, "Yeah, it is." He goes, "Well, your dad seems very upset about this right away. And I just want to let him know I have no intentions of ever taking that right away." I guess that's not true, is it?
So you're maintaining he's actually going to be encroaching into the right of way?
I
here.
think, yeah, he's already approaching it now. He's already saying that he maintains it. What's the next step? And also, I think it would do you guys, I think you guys should actually come out and look at this. Because the
Yeah.
residents, the
To
residents to
that.
the left, there's no property there at all. I mean, if you were to build that now, one half of that house would have to be made out of masonry because it would be a fire hazard. So
One-
he's expanding that whole thing. He's not gonna have any land at all. Not only that, he's going towards the lake. He's cutting off the guy to the left's view of the water.
So one point I do want to make is that all of our members are required to go out and look at the
I
site.
would think,
before
I think it
coming.
would,
So we have.
a good
already done-
idea to
We've
do
already
that.
done that.
what's that?
We've already done that.
Oh, have you?
Yes. So which residence are you at?
I live at 7001 Van Antwerp Drive. My dad, George Taylor, lives across the street. And two of my other siblings and I hold the deed to these properties now. And that is on our deed. And we've lived there. He's been there since 1946. It's always been the right of way. And I was born in 60. I've been there since. And we've always used that since we were kids. And just about this paper road thing, I do know this. Those were all military lots for Civil War participants. And that land was owned by Mr. Van Antwerp, which was a farm. It went all the way down to Bridgeport. And there's a well on that road, or on that end of the street on Van Antwerp. And I'm sure that's how they got the cows in and out of the water. That's how they got water access, ice in the winter. As far as this paper road thing, I don't really know much about. I've never even heard of that.
Okay. Any specific questions that aren't going to involve any back and forth?
Just real quick, to your knowledge, does anybody else have deeded access rights besides, you said it was yourself and your brother?
Well, it's my siblings, because we got the land from,
Okay.
we're holding the property from my dad.
And as far as you know, that's the only ones?
Well, Eric.
And Eric.
Eric has it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never met anybody else that's ever had it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid, that was a vacant lot, and they moved a small camp there to where that house is now they want to add on to. And, they've never stated, or I've never seen anything on their paperwork that they own part of that right away. Never.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you clarify, are you challenging both variances or just one? Because I heard you say you had a problem with the deck too.
I have a problem with the whole
There's
thing.
two
I have a
variances.
problem with the whole thing.
There's 3 variances.
There's 3? Oh, okay.
Well, he did the addition across the road off of Bill Myers's plans and built that garage, which's got a heated upstairs, and he has a business. And it's fully heated. It's got a bathroom. It's got air conditioning. Use that. Then you don't have to do that addition. Not only that, but the fire trucks have a hard time getting around that corner there because everything's built right out to the road.
Anything else?
Coverage, okay.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Come on up, sir.
My name is Mark Stasko. And I own the property on the other side of the right of way. I'm his neighbor. Depending on what's neighbor on what way.
So are you're 70/25? I apologize. All right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sir, you have to speak into the microphone, otherwise you won't get recorded. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
So my question is, with this addition on the lake side of the house, it's going to completely block my view going west for views of the lake from my house, because my house is set back more than that is. And I don't know if I have any rights to that, to raise that or not, but
Unfortunately, there's no view shed provisions in the Cicero Town Code.
that's kind of what I figured, but I just wanted to,
I do appreciate your
okay,
comments,
that's
though.
it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sir, if you're gonna comment, you're gonna have to come back up.
Said there's no view, what?
There's no view shed requirements in the Cicero Town Code where.
Why is it they're not allowing people to build fences along the lake then? For that reason. You're blocking their view.
No, that's more of that's a front yard situation. Steve, if you want to elaborate on that, please.
Sure. So there's no specific language in the zoning code about right to view or view shed, although there are every residential zoning district and commercial for that matter have minimum setbacks from front to rear yard. Fences in front yards are required to be certain heights and that's true. And that is for an aesthetic and orderly design. And yes, you could get it, it does, you can't build anything in the first 30 feet. So that's what's permitted.
Well, I just know that everybody that has done that, like down from Boreal,
Mhm.
made them take them down.
Yeah, but because the zoning code specifically addresses fences and in front yard setbacks, as the chairman said, but doesn't refer to view shed.
So they can build out as far as they want, even though it's blocking their
No.
view.
No, so
That's not what we're saying.
the reason why they're
That'd be
here,
clear.
the reason why they're here is because they're trying to build outside of the envelope that's prescribed by the code. Just to be clear, if they were to suck back to that 6-foot side yard, there would be no, well, and the coverage, if they were able to pull the coverage back, they would have they could go out and build tomorrow as long as they had the approval from the town.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else who would speak against this? Okay. So at this time, I will close the public hearing. Oh. Yes, there'll be an opportunity for rebuttals. And you may as well just come up because the next thing I'm going to do is ask if the board has any other further questions on this.
I guess I just would like, there's no intention to try to tape this right away. That's not what any part of this application is. This application is for our parcel. And from the deed research that we were able to do, and we can definitely check this with the surveyor as well, when we get the property recertified, we did have access across this easement, so we'll have to just look into that. But then also, we looked at, Eric, I don't know where you think you have your, because our deed research shows that your property doesn't have access. We show your property having it, absolutely. It's a lot of crazy research that you got to go to the county clerk's office. There's a lot of driving around on this stuff.
And then they never dedicated it.
Right.
It never came.
But then what?
Terry, whatever question you have, this is probably a good time.
I don't know whether, I don't have any way to. Well, I don't know what deed that is. That could be anybody's deed. I haven't.
They don't have one.
I'm not saying it's not. It's just that they're mentioned in some of them and they're not mentioned in others.
Just so we're clear, it's not an easement, it's a right of way.
You're correct. It is a deeded right of way. You are correct. I apologize for misusing the term.
That's where the water.
Not trying to create any murkiness. This is a murky situation as far as I understand it, just given this right of way.
So let me pause this all right here.
It's not. Yeah.
I'm gonna back up on a couple things. with regards to anything with the bald eagles, I'm assuming the seeker, there was a mention of bald eagles here. I'm assuming the seeker process would capture that if,
Yeah, because.
There
it's
was a
type-
concern because of the
it's a
screening.
Type 2 action,
Yeah.
seeker's done.
okay.
Yep.
And there would be no Army Corps or,
Not for any
DEC
sort.
permits required, okay.
I'd
How?
be happy to get an updated survey with the proper deeds and, you know, come back with that survey.
I
and-
think because of the, I think because of the nature of some of the comments here, and just my original concerns about the age of the survey, I think having that deed research would be,
Yeah,
good.
we can get a surveyor to pull that stuff together and return that.
because, so, I mean, one of the main points of contention here was, at least what I heard, was the removal or the ability to remove the dock that, your clients had put in place. Does that actually, is that a year-round dock that's there, or does that come out every winter?
I believe it comes out. There's a section of rock wall that protects the shoreline permanently, but the docks go in and out off of the rock wall structure seasonal.
Okay. And there's, sorry, I'm making some notes.
And
So
we
that,
would
I mean,
have-
that would have to utilize the right of way to be able to,
Well, no, they've
come
got
out.
5 feet on the other side of the house. I mean,
Either 5 feet.
he can't get that.
well, docks are thin
Folks.
and they can turn and carry. Yeah, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying.
folks, we really can't have the back and forth because it's not getting captured.
Yeah, I apologize. I'll stop with the back and forth.
Thank you.
I think there are definitely ways that the dock could be dealt with.
Other than using the.
Absolutely. If they don't have rights to the right of way, they shouldn't be using the right of way, nor should anybody else without rights.
Ma'am, so I gotta put a pause on that because again, this is all not getting captured, and for the sake of public input and capturing all this, we can't have that. But what my feeling is right now is that we have to defer this until we can get an updated survey and we can clear up the right of way issue, and then we can move on from there. Because I'm going to defer it, I'm going to back up on one thing, which was I closed the public hearing. The public hearing needs to remain open so that these folks have an opportunity to have input again as new evidence is provided. Sir, if you're going to have a comment, please come up to the microphone.
If this is gonna be deferred, how are we gonna get notified? Because last time we did not get notified at all. This could have gone under the radar.
Steve, can you provide the notification?
Well, the
Requirements.
notification is right now. So you're gonna put in the record that this is gonna be held to a date certain, which is the next meeting. The notification is, that we provide is to adjacent property owners and it's advertised publicly. So everybody that abuts this property received a written notification.
Did not.
Well, that's not, I'll,
So
That's
the
not the
key
case,
here
yeah.
was that Steve said a butt, and when I
Abutting.
looked up, you're a couple houses
I
down.
have the lake rights. It's right next to it. I'm
that's,
deeded to
that's
that.
not ownership of land. You have to have property that abuts and you'll get notification. So you don't have land that you own that abuts this property.
But what I can tell you is that our next meeting is December 1st.
Okay.
Is that a reasonable, and I'm asking Tim now, is that a,
Fair. I will reach out. Imagine I can get a survey before then. but
Oh, it's,
how, and the deed research also?
That would
okay.
all be part of that scope. That additional deed research would be done by the surveyor, as part of the documentation of the parcel.
Okay,
But I need, I can let you know tomorrow, the next day, but I can't commit to something that I don't even control.
understood. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to defer this till our December 1st meeting.
But the attorney said they didn't have deeded lake rights. They didn't have,
That doesn't matter. We need to, because there's a dispute, we need to get this, at least in my mind, this needs to get resolved before we can move forwards. Because that's one definitive question that's being asked. And I now have a concern about it. So we're gonna get that settled before we can move on. You're welcome. So we're keeping the public hearing open, please. And at this time, I will make a motion to defer this case until our December 1st meeting. Do I have a second?
Second,
Please call the roll.
yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion.
Yes to the motion. Motion carried. So our next meeting, like I mentioned, is scheduled for Monday, December 1st. Is there any other business before the board? Okay, there be no other business before the board. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Guys have it, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. You as well.